Most people love to talk about their values and principles, but when the pressure's on, those ideals crumble fast. Whether it's for acceptance, comfort, or cash, they'll abandon their morals, bend their beliefs, and betray themselves just to keep the peace or gain approval. Sigma males are cut from a different cloth. There are certain principles so deeply rooted in who they are that compromising on them would feel like tearing out a part of their soul. These aren't performative or made-for-show values. They're non-negotiable codes of conduct, formed through solitude, hardship, and the quiet lessons of experience. What separates Sigma males from typical displays of masculine bravado is simple: they don't uphold these values to impress anyone. There's no desire to look tough or earn validation. These are internal commitments, ones forged in silence and honored in solitude, even when no one's watching. What they would willingly suffer, or even die, for might surprise you. It's not the things most people say they care about. It's the quiet, unshakable boundaries that define who they are, and what they will never become. Here are 12 deeply personal, untouchable values Sigma males would rather endure pain for than ever compromise. Number 1. Intellectual rebellion. There's something deeply offensive to a Sigma male about being told to accept lies as truth, just because they're popular, or worse, because someone in a position of power said so. They are wired to question, dissect, and challenge anything that smells like groupthink, forced narratives, or emotional manipulation disguised as wisdom. Where most people nod politely to protect egos, keep jobs, or maintain fake peace, Sigma males lean into the discomfort. They can't sit silently while illogical policies are praised, or when obvious incompetence is rewarded because of politics, seniority, or status. They see the cracks in the system. And more importantly, they refuse to pretend those cracks don't exist. It's not about arrogance. It's not about being contrarian for the sake of attention. It's about intellectual integrity. Sigma males would rather lose a promotion, get disinvited from family gatherings, or be called difficult than spend one more second faking agreement with something that insults their intelligence. This creates tension. It draws backlash. People accuse them of being negative or too intense, because most are too fragile to hear truth without filters. But Sigma males are not here to comfort illusions. They're here to keep their mind sharp, their soul clean, and their conscience clear. They believe that the real danger to society isn't disagreement, it's blind obedience. And while others quietly applaud the emperor's imaginary clothes, Sigma males are the ones standing alone, saying, "No. He's naked. And this is madness." That moment of truth-telling? That's where they feel most alive. Number 2, minimal rules, maximum freedom. There's a particular kind of slow death that comes from being micromanaged, when every choice you make is questioned, when your actions must be explained, and your desires squeezed into someone else's idea of what's acceptable. It's the kind of invisible prison most people eventually adapt to. They trade authenticity for comfort. They obey to avoid conflict. And they learn to survive in cages with golden bars. But Sigma males refuse to live that way. They don't just dislike control, they reject it on a cellular level. The moment someone starts imposing unnecessary rules or dictating how they should think, behave, or live, something primal awakens in them. To others, it might look like rebellion. To the Sigma, it's self-preservation. And make no mistake, this isn't some reckless desire to live without discipline or structure. Sigma males thrive on responsibility when it's chosen freely. What they can't accept is forced obedience, systems designed to suppress critical thinking, autonomy, or self-direction. Whether it's a job that demands blind loyalty, a relationship that operates on guilt and control, or a society that rewards conformity over creativity, Sigma males instinctively withdraw or push back. They will walk away from wealth, status, and even comfort if it means reclaiming their personal sovereignty. They don't want to rule others. They just refuse to be ruled. They don't need constant validation. They need space to breathe, think, and act without being second-guessed at every turn. To the Sigma male, freedom is not a luxury, it's oxygen. And if you try to take it away, you're not just asking for resistance. You're awakening a war within him. Number 3, inner peace over external validation. Most people spend their lives chasing approval like it's oxygen, needing someone to tell them they're good enough, smart enough, successful enough, worthy enough. It starts young and never stops. Every decision is filtered through the question, will they like me? Sigma males operate on a different frequency. To them, peace of mind is worth more than applause. They don't seek praise. They seek alignment with their values, their instincts, and their sense of truth. Because they've seen how chasing external validation turns people into emotional slaves. One moment you're flying high from a compliment. The next, you're spiraling because someone criticized you. It's a never-ending loop of insecurity disguised as ambition. Sigma males break that loop. They build their self-worth from within. They choose paths that make sense to them, not paths that impress the crowd. And when faced with judgment, ridicule, or disapproval, they don't flinch. Why? Because they weren't seeking permission in the first place. This doesn't mean they're cold or detached. They feel everything, deeply. But they've learned to place inner peace above popularity. They understand that no amount of admiration is worth sacrificing their sanity. So they say no when everyone expects a yes. They walk away when others beg them to stay. They trust themselves when the world says they're wrong. Because in the quiet of their own mind, they have something most people never find, a calm, unshakable center. That peace? It's not for sale. And it's not up for debate. Number 4, spaces where they can be invisible. In a world obsessed with attention, where people broadcast their lives for likes, overexpose their thoughts for approval, and confuse being seen with being valued, Sigma males seek the opposite, invisibility. Not because they're ashamed. Not because they're hiding. But because being unseen is their sanctuary. They understand something most people ignore: constantly performing for others, whether it's being charming, professional, or emotionally available, is spiritually draining. Most people have been conditioned to be on 24/7. They smile when they're breaking inside. They talk when they'd rather stay silent. They say yes when their soul is screaming no, just to avoid being misunderstood or left out. Sigma males don't play that game. They treat solitude not as a punishment, but as a necessity for survival. It's where they reconnect with themselves, process the chaos of the world, and restore their strength. They don't just like being alone. They require it. It's where their clarity sharpens, where their thoughts deepen, and where their true identity flourishes, free from noise, masks, and expectations. This is why they often choose lifestyles that support this need. Remote jobs over crowded offices. Solitary hobbies over group activities. Minimalist living over busy, attention-seeking environments. They create boundaries around their energy, not because they dislike people, but because they know their energy is sacred. These invisible spaces are not escapes. They are anchors. They are places where Sigma males don't have to explain themselves, impress anyone, or meet superficial standards. Because in these quiet corners of life, far from the spotlight and noise, they don't just rest. They thrive. Number 5, simplicity and minimalism. In a world obsessed with status symbols, flashy lifestyles, and the constant pressure to show off, Sigma males stand in quiet opposition. While others chase luxury to feel important, Sigmas chase clarity. To them, simplicity isn't just a design choice, it's a philosophy of life. They understand that every item you own comes with a hidden cost. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That expensive car? It comes with maintenance, stress, and social expectations. That oversized home? It drains your attention and demands constant upkeep. Even digital clutter, too many notifications, endless subscriptions, unnecessary apps, creates a chaotic mind. So Sigma males cut through the noise. They don't need a closet full of designer clothes to feel powerful. They don't need the latest tech to prove they're smart. They don't need a giant house to feel accomplished. What they crave is freedom, mental, emotional, and physical. By reducing what they own, they reclaim their time. By simplifying their surroundings, they sharpen their focus. By letting go of what doesn't serve them, they make room for what actually matters. And it's not just physical minimalism. It's emotional minimalism too. They avoid drama, limit meaningless conversations, and walk away from people who drain them. They don't collect social trophies, they invest in real connection, purposeful action, and peace of mind. While others are owned by their possessions, Sigma males own their inner world. And in that quiet, uncluttered space, they find something most people never will: contentment. Number 6, the freedom to question everything. In most societies, obedience is rewarded, and questioning is punished. From childhood, we're taught to color inside the lines, follow the rules, and never challenge the system, even when it's clearly broken. Schools, workplaces, families, religions, they all have sacred cows you're not supposed to touch. But Sigma males weren't built for blind obedience. They were built to think. To a Sigma, the ability to question reality isn't a rebellious phase, it's the foundation of personal freedom. When something doesn't make sense, they can't ignore it. They don't accept, because that's how it's always been, as a valid explanation. They want to know the why, not just the what. This mindset isn't just about curiosity, it's about reclaiming mental sovereignty. Because the moment you lose the right to question, you become a puppet for someone else's agenda. Whether it's a broken political system, a toxic relationship dynamic, or a popular belief that lacks logic, Sigma males dig deeper. And that scares people. Why? Because questioning exposes cracks in the foundation. It forces others to confront things they've been avoiding. Most people find comfort in conformity. Sigma males find suffocation. This relentless pursuit of truth often isolates them. They're seen as troublemakers, non-team players, or even threats to the status quo. But they don't care about fitting in, they care about seeing clearly. And they understand something vital. A life without the freedom to question is just a scripted performance, one where you're not even the author. Number 7, choosing depth over popularity. In today's world, popularity is currency. The more followers, likes, and attention you have, the more valuable people think you are. Most individuals are conditioned to seek visibility, to be seen, liked, and validated as often as possible. But Sigma males aren't interested in popularity contests. They don't measure their worth by how many people notice them, but by how deeply they connect with the few that truly matter. They'd rather have one honest conversation than 100 surface-level exchanges. They'd rather build one real friendship than collect dozens of shallow acquaintances. And they'd rather be silent and misunderstood than loud and fake. While others are busy curating a persona to be accepted, Sigma males are peeling back layers to get closer to who they really are. They don't chase trends, they chase truth. They don't adapt to fit a room, they observe it quietly and decide if it aligns with their energy. And they don't perform for applause, they speak only when the moment is real and the words are necessary. This often makes them appear mysterious or intimidating. But really, they're just focused. Intentional. Selective. They know that depth requires silence, slowness, and solitude, things that popularity rarely allows. So while others burn themselves out trying to be seen, Sigma males build quiet, meaningful lives where the validation comes from within. Because at the end of the day, what's popular is often shallow, what's deep is often overlooked. And Sigma males would rather be overlooked than lose themselves in the crowd. Number 8, breaking every expectation. There's a quiet kind of prison most people live in, and it's built from expectations. Expectations from parents, from society, from culture, religion, tradition, and even well-meaning friends. You're expected to follow a timeline. Get the right job, marry the right person, buy the house, have the kids, climb the ladder, smile while doing it. And for many, it feels easier to just comply. Fighting that current is exhausting. Especially when the people pressuring you are the same ones who raised you, loved you, or invested in your future. The guilt can be crushing. The fear of judgment even worse. But Sigma males don't just question the script, they walk off the stage entirely. They understand a brutal truth. Living a life that isn't yours, even if it's successful by society's standards, is a slow form of spiritual death. So they make a choice. They'd rather be misunderstood than molded. They'd rather disappoint others than betray themselves. They'd rather walk alone in uncertainty than walk with a crowd toward something that feels empty. This isn't rebellion for the sake of ego or attention. Sigma males don't burn bridges for fun, they walk away in silence when a path no longer fits their soul. It might look irrational to others. Leaving a prestigious job to pursue something quieter but more meaningful. Abandoning a relationship everyone else thinks is perfect because the connection feels hollow. Moving away from their hometown, their comfort zone, or their past to become someone new. And yes, it comes at a cost. They lose approval. They get labeled selfish or lost. They feel the sting of being alienated, criticized, or even pitted. But deep down, they gain something no amount of praise can ever give them, freedom. Because a Sigma male's loyalty isn't to social norms. It's to truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. They don't just want a life that looks good. They want a life that feels real. Even if it means breaking every expectation placed upon them to build it. Number 9, emotional independence over codependency. In a world where people often rely on others to complete them, Sigma males choose emotional independence. Not because they don't feel emotions, but because they refuse to let those emotions be governed by someone else's approval, moods, or expectations. They don't need someone to constantly reassure them that they're enough. They don't cling, chase, or beg for attention. And they don't enter relationships to fill emotional voids, they enter when there's mutual respect, alignment, and peace. While many relationships are based on unspoken contracts like, "I'll make you feel important if you make me feel needed," Sigma males quietly walk away from that game. They don't want someone to complete them, they want someone whole enough to walk beside them. This emotional self-reliance doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from hard-earned clarity. They've learned the cost of outsourcing their self-worth. They've seen how easy it is to become entangled in toxic dynamics when your identity depends on how someone else treats you. So instead, they build a life where their emotional baseline is solid, peaceful, and self-sustaining. And if someone enters that life, it's a bonus, not a necessity. Because Sigma males know this truth. If you can't be alone with your own thoughts, you'll always be at the mercy of someone else's. And they'd rather be alone in peace than trapped in a relationship where their soul can't breathe. Number 10, redefining success on their own terms. Success is one of the most manipulated words in the modern world. Most people inherit their definition of success without ever questioning it. A title, a paycheck, a big house, a stable marriage, a curated life that looks perfect from the outside, even if it feels empty on the inside. Sigma males refuse to accept second-hand definitions. They take the time to ask, what does success mean to me? What kind of life actually feels fulfilling, not just looks impressive? What do I need less of, not more of? For some Sigmas, success means building a quiet life with total autonomy, working remotely, living in nature, escaping the grind. For others, it means mastering a craft, creating something meaningful, or simply having the space to think freely without being pulled in every direction by expectations. They aren't lazy or unambitious. On the contrary, Sigma males can be fiercely driven. But their ambition isn't fueled by external comparison. It's driven by personal vision. They're willing to earn less money if it means buying more freedom. They're okay with people thinking they've settled if they feel internally aligned. They're not chasing recognition, they're chasing resonance. So while others are sprinting toward goals society handed them, Sigma males are walking their own path, quietly, deliberately, unapologetically. Because they know the most dangerous form of failure is achieving someone else's version of success, and realizing too late that it never made you happy. Number 11, mastery over performance. In a world obsessed with appearances, social media highlights, and surface-level status symbols, most people are performing, constantly signaling how smart, successful, or attractive they are. But Sigma males aren't playing for applause. They're playing for mastery. They don't care about impressing others with titles, credentials, or flashy wins. Instead, they're obsessed with getting better, sharpening skills, deepening knowledge, and perfecting their craft in silence. To them, the journey of becoming excellent is deeply personal. They're not chasing external trophies, they're pursuing internal growth. While others seek recognition, Sigma males seek competence. This creates a powerful contrast. While others chase jobs that look good on paper, Sigma males chase work that challenges them. While others want to be seen as experts, Sigma males want to feel like students who are always improving. While others settle for mediocrity once they get applause, Sigma males keep pushing, long after the spotlight fades. They find meaning in quiet mastery, not loud performance. Because they know, the world may reward those who perform, but life favors those who truly understand what they're doing. And for Sigma males, becoming truly great, even if no one sees it, is the ultimate freedom. Number 12, loyalty to truth, not groupthink. Most people are loyal to groups, families, cultures, friend circles, or ideologies. They will go along with the collective story, even when it contradicts reality, because rocking the boat risks losing approval. But Sigma males are loyal to truth, even when it's inconvenient, unpopular, or isolating. They don't just believe what their group believes. They question everything. Is this belief still true, or just inherited? Do I agree with this, or am I afraid to disagree? Am I thinking clearly, or just following the crowd? They're not looking to argue for the sake of argument, but they refuse to betray their own intelligence to make others comfortable. This truth loyalty shows up in every area of life. They'll leave a toxic family dynamic rather than stay silent for appearances. They'll walk away from a friend group if the shared values no longer align. They'll reject ideologies, religious, political, or cultural, that demand blind allegiance. Sigma males don't fear being the outlier, they embrace it. Because to them, there's no honor in being accepted by people you had to lie to in order to fit in. They'd rather be the lone wolf who speaks the truth than the well-liked sheep who never questions the shepherd. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe for more on the Sigma mindset and how to stay grounded in who you truly are. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay strong and keep evolving.